What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Morning Spike. I'm Brian the Grizzly here. We're going to talk about all the NFL things that are going on, all the odds of the draft, because we're only a few days away. It is crazy about the news that we're hearing, which a lot of it, this is lying season. This is what a lot of people are going to be in there saying all these positive things about, these players trying to get their guy to drop. Most NFL teams usually have first round grades around 18 to 24 players. So with us having that many players, being drafted, they're trying to throw out negative information, hoping that their guy falls to them. And that's what we're getting right now. And we get information from all over the world. Um, I believe Kevin O'Connell I literally said something last night. I wanted to play this for everybody and see what you guys think. So hold on, let me pull it up. And yeah,
NFL draft, and when you're comparing Drake May to JJ, and when you can see JJ operating in the Harbaugh system, he's got really good feet. He looks really, fine. But then Drake May, the arm talent in the throws, in the anticipating windows. How do you sort of compare that and be like, you know what? Even though his feet aren't, exactly how we need him, he could be, say, like a Josh Allen or something.
So I think, so part of, for a couple of years, I've been kind of known as the quarterback killer when it comes to the draft in Egan, because the feeling that I feel from our fan base is when we get this next guy, he's going to be the guy. And I feel it. I know you guys all feel it. So I have, had to, in a lot of ways fight off some mistakes from being made, mainly because the evaluation process I go through, I think about the things that are fixable. I think about the things that are coachable. And then you think about the things that, you could coach another 15 years with the player and you might not be able to fix. And hope and faith are wonderful things. I do like them to not necessarily be strategies. So I do very much believe in certain principles of playing the quarterback position. I believe the footwork in the lower half of any quarterback can be fixed with the proper coaching and teaching. And I think that when you see the good things on tape, you see things that they can do better on tape. You're looking for a lot of different things and to check a lot of boxes. And ultimately, when you feel like you find that guy, then you got to hope that 31 other teams are complicit in making sure that they can become a Minnesota Viking. But we only need one team to be complicit. And hopefully we find that team and that
maybe
person's
you could
on
work
our
your
team.
Patriots connection at 3.
I
don't know.
I may or may not have sent a nice bouquet of flowers to Robert Kraft the other day, but
I thought that was hilarious. Uh, so that was the part of the rumor. But what you notice when he's speaking about it, he's talking about both, Drake May, JJ, talking about the differences in it. So the problem with Drake May and a lot of people's eyes are his footwork is terrible. It's very sloppy, it's lazy. He has the speed, the quickness, and everything, but the footwork just looks lazy. And he's saying that that's stuff that it could be fixed. JJ has that great footwork. He's been coached by Harbaugh. There's a lot of things that, if you're hoping that he can translate, that maybe that's not the pick you want, but I could see him going for either one of those guys. But if he does trade up to 3, I have no doubt that he's going to Drake May. I believe that he believes he has a higher upside. I thought that was funny. He said he sent Robert Kraft a bouquet of flowers, trying to get him to soften on their stance, because what the Patriots have said is that no one has wowed them. No one has wowed them at this point in time. So if no one wows the Patriots will take a quarterback at 3. So the way things are looking, it looks like we're going to get Caleb at 1. And say hi to all you guys in here. Yeah, Derpy. Draft week finally made it here. Yeah. Brady wants to see my face if the first pick, the 2024 NFL draft, the NFL, the Chicago Bears select J.J. McCarthy, QB, Michigan. I would riot. I would write. I'm pretty sure most people in Chicago will do it too. All right. Get rid of Justin Fields and this. I would literally it'll be over. I need I need you to have your team go ahead and trade back. We'll talk about that in a little bit anyway. So are you really sure on Caleb? It doesn't even matter if I'm sure. I just feel like they're sure at this point. It doesn't matter what I want. Um I told you guys what I want. I want to get a haul for the first pick. Get as much talent there as possible. But that doesn't look like it's gonna happen anymore. Obviously. We sing Caleb Williams, we sent him the playbook. So he's been in Chicago. Like there's no doubt what's going to happen with the first pick at this point. Um, but it doesn't matter if I'm sure on him or not. Still think the floor is Kyler Murray. If that's the case, then it works. I guess. I don't know if we win, but he'll be a decent quarterback regardless. Can you compare Drake May with Joe Burrow? Here's a couple issues with Drake May. Well, Joe Burrow played with talent around him at LSU, right? Great talent. We see what was going on with Jamar Chase and JJ. I mean, all that was on the same team. He knew how to get them the ball. He was cool enough for a leader that they were able to follow him. He had the arm talent. He had to go from Ohio State to LSU, but he had all those things with him. You always saw, and then he lit up the college football. He was a winner, and he lit it up. So he has the stats to go along with all the tangibles or intangibles that he had, along with being able to play with great players. Drake May hasn't had the opportunity. He had a pretty good team in North Carolina 2 years ago, and he did okay with. He was obviously the best player on the field this year, and had some problems where they had blocking problems. They had not great receivers. So I don't think you really could compare as much. Also, Drake May is a big dude, much bigger, I believe, than Joe Burrow. I think he's just as quick and fast as anyone else in the draft. He, as a prospect, looking at them by themselves, I believe Joe Burrow would not measure up to Drake May, but Joe Burrow is a winner. He has the stats. He's done it. You can't. Football is one of those things you either could play or can't play. I think when the biggest problem people have when they draft athletes instead of football players who had success on the field. You're looking at someone like, hey, he has all the measurables, and they don't look and realize you have to perform. And that's something that you can't measure. So I don't think that's the exact same comparison. With the first pick of the 2024 NFL draft, the Chicago Bears select Brian the Grizzly. That would be a mistake. I'm old, can't move, I ain't throwing the ball. I don't know where I would go. He says, Ryan Post, I'm gonna need that number 9. No, Khan will not betray. We blocked your number. You're not even allowed to call Chicago area codes anymore. No more. We're not giving the Steelers anything else. I believe we probably could trade with either Denver, Raiders, or the Colts at 9. Or go Rome Odunze. But for some reason, even with Malik Neighbors on the board, I think we might trade back. If Rome Odunze is there, I think we grab him. If Joe Alt's there, there's no way in hell we let him go by. But I don't know why, though most teams have Malik Neighbors. A lot of teams have him number 1. But I believe we still trade back if he's on the. They really like Rome Odunze. They really like Marvin Harrison Jr. because I think they like the bigger receiver. I don't know if that's a mistake or not, because Neighbors might be Jamar Chase, but it is what it is. You have 2 good receivers right now, and probably a top 5 receiving core as we go along right now. So, but yeah, with the whole idea with Minnesota right now, I think they're very interesting because if what Bleacher Report is reporting and said that there's 2 teams that they believe could move back. Cardinals still are a threat there as well, but they could stay put. Some teams have talked and believe that they are going to stay and take Marvin Harrison Jr. who's considered widely as the best wide receiver in the draft. You got Malik Neighbors and Rome Odunze all could go in the top 10, and both teams could go receiver, but they say the Chargers and Cardinals are high sell, high interest rate. Most teams I've talked to expect one of these two teams to trade back, and it might be more momentum with the Chargers right now because they have a lot of needs. They need to reestablish their identity under Jim Harbaugh, so they're looking to potentially move out. They really do want to move out. That's what's going on. So if the Cardinals trade back, I believe the Chargers stay put. If the Cardinals draft Marvin Harrison Jr., I believe the Chargers trade out. So no matter weight, in the top 5, I believe 4 quarterbacks go in the top 5 one way or another. I don't know if Minnesota is necessarily the team that will even jump and try to grab it. Because we already saw Sean Payton is ready to mortgage his entire future for a quarterback. You see all the reports and everything. He's ready to do whatever it takes to get one of these quarterbacks. So I wouldn't be surprised if Sean Payton jumps up. I wouldn't be surprised if the Raiders jump up, even though what I'm hearing from them is that they might take Michael Penix Jr. even at 13. So we end up with another quarterback taken in the first round, early in the first round. Those are just interesting things that could happen. We don't know who's going to trade what, but I feel like there's going to be a trade heavy first round because there's a lot of teams that need a lot of help in a lot of different positions. So those are the interesting things. So we're either going to stay put or trade up for a receiver. I think you stay put and get an offensive tackle. There's somewhere between 8 to 10 offensive tackles that's going to go in the first round. I believe you guys get one of them. I think it's the smartest move you can make too. You have a team that's will be really, really good next year. And I think that with the coaching staff that you have, you get an offensive tackle there that can protect one of these two quarterbacks. The Pittsburgh Steelers could be a juggernaut, someone that you really don't want to play. They won 9 games last year. You have better quarterback play, and you can protect the quarterback even better. Man, that's a great combination. I wouldn't be surprised if they do something really special. But I think you stay put and take one of these tackles. I mean, it's really deep. It's really deep. Anthony says, when I heard Jets might draft Brock Bowers depending on Aaron Rodgers, I'm like, so Aaron is the boss I see. Yeah. Well, okay, so you already told him, got rid of your young quarterback for the old 41-year-old quarterback. You're trying to win. You're trying to do whatever it takes to get that championship. Or at least get it in the discussion. They lost last year. So what they're going to try to do is go ahead and find anyone that could help Aaron, get to that point. I think tight end is a perfect place. And Brock Bowers might be. 2 years ago, we thought Brock Bowers was going to be the most talented guy coming out of the draft. 6 months ago, he was a top 3, top 4 pick till all these quarterbacks start coming up, right? I think getting Brock Bowers, he could change the way they run their offense. And him with Garrett Wilson, the talent they have in their backfield, along with Aaron Rodgers, Jets could be a problem, especially with the Bills losing all their talent, losing the entire line, losing all the wide receivers. They have to rebuild, which I think they find a way to get Brian Thomas in the first round, but that's not going to be enough. The Bills are going to take a couple steps back. They might be the 3rd best team in that division, with the Patriots possibly getting a quarterback and coming back into the first round and getting a wide receiver. I can see that happening. Perfect places for the first round in the first round. I think the Detroit Lions are going to trade back. They have so much talent already there. They're going to trade back. It makes perfect sense. Their GM already kind of talked about it. They know the draft is in Detroit. They're hoping that people don't get angry knowing that they're going to possibly trade back into the second round instead of taking that 29th pick. 29 is a perfect place to go in and get your 5th-year option on your quarterback. So one of these teams that don't get one, Bo Nix could go 29. If Penix doesn't go early, he could go 29. You trade back into the first round, and that's a perfect place to go. I expect 29 to be traded. I believe. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills trade up 23. That second Vikings pick, whoever ends up getting it. I wouldn't be surprised if the Bills trade up for that, get their guy. But we'll see. We'll see. What if the Chargers, if Chargers will trade Herbert in the next 3 years, number one to Chicago for number one overall? Will you take it? At this point, they're just not going to do it. And the problem with Herbert is the same thing as with any of these quarterbacks. You got to pay him. You got to have the salary to pay now. But I personally take it. Sure, I would have taken a haul the first time, but I don't believe Ryan Pace is going. Ryan Poles is going to do that. I'm sorry, Ryan Poles is not going to hitch his wagon onto another quarterback that he hasn't done the homework on. No matter how talented he is, and you wasted opportunity. The whole point was that with Justin Fields was that they're getting rid of someone that they're going to eventually have to pay. I totally understand it. I don't agree with it, but I understand why he's doing it. You don't want to have to pay somebody knowing that you get a rookie guy and you can pay all these other players around him and have all the talent and be able to do great things. So I'm not. I say I'm not exactly ecstatic about it, but I don't believe the Bears would trade the number one pick for anything at this point. They're going for Caleb Williams, and mistake or not, this is what they're going to do. See, the real question is, will the NFL draft affect LeBron James' legacy? Pulling me out of the bag. Oh my goodness! Look, I'm not a huge LeBron James fan, but I will say this: as a person, as a man, as the things that he's done, he's definitely a great role model. So yeah, I don't have all the hate for everyone that everyone does for LeBron. Yeah, I believe he's earned his place as the second best player of all time. Um, all right, with all that said, I want to kind of jump back into the Arizona Cardinals. I believe that's a very interesting place um, because the decision, they already have 2 first-round draft picks. If they trade out of 4 and get 2 more, so they end up with 3, I think that'll be very interesting. And then they can get a lot of talent around that team. They have everything you can be looking for. They really do. Got Anzo in here. Go Steelers! Hey, I'm a Steelers fan. I had my Steelers jersey on yesterday. I got my Jerome Bettis. I'm waiting for them to release the Justin Fields. I'm gonna have that one too. I don't care. I'm gonna be that's my FC team from now on. I was already a fan, so now that's my team. That's my boy over there on the AFC. That's what I'm gonna be going for. But yeah, I was saying the Cardinals. If I'm the Cardinals, I take Marvin Harrison Jr. Yeah, man. I try to go on as many times as I can, man. Gotta do what you gotta do. Not here, ready to go. Because you know what? We only got 4 days to the draft, and I think that we need to be talking about these players and all the things that could happen no matter what. But I was just telling Derpy, you guys need to get offensive tackle at the Steelers. You really do. I think if you do that, you solidify that line. I think Daniels is there at right guard. I think he's good. You put a left tackle there, and all of a sudden that line works better. Now you can run the ball with your 2 really good running backs. Run the ball. Now you have either Justin Fields or Russ doing his thing. Russ probably does it at the beginning, unless Justin Fields beats him out in training camp, which I just have a hard time believing because Russ is going to go all out during training camp. Justin is going to be able to show talent that you just couldn't believe. But I think that they wait on it. I believe they pick up the 5th-year option on Justin because this is going to happen. Has to happen, I think, before May 2nd. I think they pick up the 5th-year option on Justin Fields, which is smart because now you're only paying 2 years, $28 million for a guy that could be your quarterback, right? Then, Russ, something happens with Russ. He either, Derby says he, gets hurt, or he loses a couple of games, and you've seen it. Justin Fields on the sideline. I think he gets into the game. I think he plays 70% of the snaps at starting quarterback. And because he's on a team that can go run heavy, he's on a team that's going to win by any means necessary. And he's watching Russell Wilson, who does a good job with his footwork and getting the ball out. And he's a good locker room guy, though most people don't like following him. I think that Justin Fields will learn something from that, and he's a great leader. Justin Fields is already a great leader. So going forward, I think the Pittsburgh Steelers going to have Russ to show something. Justin Fields pick up the ball and run with it, and we might be talking about a Super Bowl team in 2 or 3 years for Pittsburgh. I think they've made great decisions, and at the expense of Chicago. So I'm really look, Con. I don't want to see your number. I don't want you calling us at all. Don't be give me. Hey, we got this guy. Nah, man. I don't want nothing from you. No, you're gonna fleece us again. That's all right. We fleece Carolina. Y'all fleece us. No, I don't need it anymore. We're good. You think the Bears will treat Caleb Williams the same way they treated Justin Fields, not pay them and trade him too? I think Caleb Williams is in 10 times a better situation than Justin Fields was. So Justin Fields came in, they had the offense for Andy Dalton. They already knowing him. They used everything to make the offense work for Andy Dalton. Then they throw him in against the best pass rush. His first game is the best pass rush in all the NFL. Then they don't put talent around him, and they get rid of all the defense the next year, right? Get rid of all the talent around him because they're reloading, right? Then he starts to show that he has a possibility of doing stuff, and then they go ahead and they say, okay, well, we have this opportunity to get number 1 overall, and we like him because he's more our style, so we're gonna go with him. I feel like he never got the opportunity he deserved, and now you have all this talent around you. Put DJ Moore in front of him, and he throws him 1,300 yards, gets him 1,300 yards and 9 touchdowns. Imagine if you had Keenan Allen and DJ Moore, how that would have worked with the offensive line that was ready. Because at the beginning of the last season, offensive line was off, just terrible. We have no center. We have nothing going on. Both our guards are out. And they get pressure up the middle. No quarterback can handle pressure up the middle. So Justin Fields is always trying to make a play because he knew this was a year. It just didn't work out the way I thought it should. But I think with Caleb, they've gotten loads of offensive linemen. I believe they draft another offensive center, right? A young guy that they're going to groom to make sure that he's the starter. He might even take over this year. They have the top 5 wide receiver core now, right? So that works. I believe they might get a tackle, they might not. Either way, the Braxton Jones is formidable, and we're good on the other side. With our draft pick last year, and the defense is ready to erupt if you get another end or a rush. So Caleb is in just a different situation with younger pieces, being in his rookie contract, the Bears team having more money and just more talent around him. So I think that he's walking into a situation where he's going to end up being there for a long time. Everything's going to fall his way, and it's just a really good situation for a number 1 pick to be able to fall into. Because most of the time, number 1 picks go into terrible situations, and that's why there's only been 4 number 1 picks to have over 100 wins. That's why most number 1 picks don't go to Super Bowl. But I think Caleb has an opportunity because he fell into a great situation. Fields is the guy for me going forward. He just needs to learn. Dude, you're going to be so surprised about how great a leader he is, how he galvanizes this team, the city. Everything is going to be great. Pittsburgh's going to love the guy. So he holds the ball a little long, but you know who else held the ball long? Ben Roethlisberger. As long as you have receivers that can get open downfield, it's going to really work out. I think it's the perfect place for Justin. I always thought. And then they didn't give up anything for it. So then it's not even hurting them for the next couple of years. It's not like you mortgage anything to get this unbelievable talent. And you have a guy in front of him who knows how to get the ball out of his hand. So he's going to see that, add that to his game because he adds something to his game every single year. And we're going to be talking about in 3 years. MVP Justin Fields on a team on Pittsburgh who's a Super Bowl contender that they gave nothing up to get him, which might be interesting because maybe the Bears made a good decision for themselves too, and both teams end up in the playoffs and have opportunity to be contenders. But big ups to the Steelers because that's going to be my other team. 1 year of learning and Fields is the guy. I don't know if he gets a full year. I don't think he even takes a full year. When I saw the way they're running together and how Russ was going to be the leader of that group right then, he just doesn't have the talent that Justin Fields does. I think that's going to be something that you're going to see really come out. Like Justin Fields is going to take the little stuff that Russ does, and he's going to become an amazing all-around quarterback. I think it's going to be really cool to see. I think the city of Pittsburgh deserves it. And he deserves it. And people are going to be pissed off. What if Justin Fields breaks the consecutive yearly win streaks? First, you have to start. As of right now, Russell Wilson is the starter. So that's kind of the thing with that. So I don't think he has that opportunity. He was able to keep the winning going with Mitchell Trubisky. Tell me, you saw that on Gridiron Heights. He was like, "Hey, all we need is you to win 2 games." He's like, "Whoa, 2? I get you 1." Justin Fields is 10 times that player. So if he can do it with Mitch Trubisky, Justin Fields can win games. He's a winner overall. He won it at Ohio State. Everyone can say anything you want to say about it. He beat Alabama by himself. Like, he's done these things by himself, like, unbelievably. So the dude can play. And if you can protect him and let him be him, the Ravens are winning with Lamar Jackson. I think Justin Fields is a bigger, stronger, faster Lamar Jackson. So I can see that. Is Fields the Steelers' future? I think that he is. I think it's smart. And they get to get him for 2 years for $28 million for nothing. That's, when you really break it down, $28 million for a quarterback is a backup quarterback. So why wouldn't you pick up the 5th-year option? The only reason you don't pick up the fifth-year option is if you know he's not the guy. If you see that he could be that guy, you pick it up and let Russ go ahead and go. Eventually, after the year, what you really hope is that Russ does well enough. Something happens to him. Justin has to jump in. He comes in and continues it and takes it to a different height. And Russ goes on. He able to continue his career somewhere else. Maybe go to LA, and to do what when Stafford goes on because his body's falling apart. And Russ gets 2 years and doing something good there. And you have Justin Fields, because who's just turned 25 in March. He just turned 25. And you have him for 15 years. And you get out of this 6th-round pick you gave us, you get 2 championships. I think that's a perfect scenario for Justin, and the Steelers will benefit from it. I don't understand why it only came that. I would have held on Justin Fields until today, until this week. When we talk about draft stuff, I think he would have been a great chip. You see the 49ers hold on to Brandon Ayuk. There's been all type of trades talked about, but they're not going to trade him unless they have the right package. Brandon Ayuk might end up being a draft night trade. Same thing with Courtland Sutton. You see that on the Broncos. The Broncos talking about all the time. They're going to be trading up. They're trying to do whatever to mortgage the future, and they've entertained a lot of trade talks over Courtland, which who showed last year that he could still play. If you put a good quarterback and you put a focus around him, he can still play. So there's a lot of guys that were held on to that might not be on their team. They're going to be held on just in traded draft day, and that's what you should have done. Okay. How long before the Steelers are contenders? I say 2 years. Okay, so it's weird for the Steelers, because they're already a 9-win team. If you get the left tackle I'm talking about, right, and you're able to find another receiver, the Steelers can win that division, which is the toughest division in all football. Cleveland Browns are a great team. Joe Burrow, you just know that the Bengals are going to bounce back, and you got the Ravens over there that don't lose, but you also don't lose. So you're not coming from like you're a bad team. You're coming from a 9-win team. If one of these quarterbacks catch fire, you win 11, 12 games. Would you want to see Mike Tomlin in the playoffs? No. I mean, the strategy wise, coaching wise, no one else is going to be better. If you have the talent along with the strategy, I don't know, man. I think Steelers could be a contender this year, depending on what they do. And then if one of these quarterbacks, they're not spending money on quarterback right now, right? That means you have talent all around. I think Steelers could be a contender in a year. No, also says 2, but I can see it sooner. Honestly, to be honest with you. So yeah, I mean, that's another. I think the Colts are going to be another team that's going to be really interesting. Do they trade up? If they trade up, what do they get? Do they go tight end? Do they try to jump the Jets? They'll get Brock Bowers. I've seen one thing when they trade with the Bears and they go grab Malik Neighbors, who's still on the board, and the Bears traded back. Then the Bears went and got J.C. Latham because they want an offensive tackle who's a great talent from Alabama, which I think the Steelers could be looking at into someone like that too. There's a lot of options. I mean, these teams are just going to be the teams will change. Having a quarterback, having these left tackle besides quarterback is probably the most important position, and that's when you have a talent, just rich draft like this. You got to go after these left tackles. You know, we saw last year. I mean, if it's a right tackle, but Williams, if it's a right tackle, you go get him, and you try to solidify that you build that line, and you try to do what Detroit has done. Detroit has done it the right way with all those first round picks on their line. I don't like them. Can't like them, but I respect everything they've done. Dan Campbell knew you build your line first, then you go ahead and you find a quarterback, and you have all this talent around him, and you can protect him. He doesn't have to worry about having happy feet. Then you win. So those are just great ideas, great position to put yourself in, and that's what teams need to really do. Build your line up, find the guy, and then go from there. Then you can be a contender, right away. Caleb Williams is going to be a really interesting thing with the Bears because the Bears, even with it being a 7-win team, they're probably a better team than the 7 wins. And you're going to have more talent being put around you, even in this draft. That's why I'm not saying that the Bears have to trade number 9. They don't have to. If Rome Odunze's there, you go get Rome Odunze because as Keenan Allen goes into the sunset, you have Rome Odunze there to step up and do whatever. That means for years you have someone that's grown with him. That's why you need to go get your center. You already have a young left tackle. Those are just things that you can do. You can keep on working. I think it's amazing. Washington, I know that they're getting a lot of fake news around everyone. I believe Washington goes Jaden Daniels. But Jaden Daniels, people are not happy at Washington. Washington bring all the quarterbacks at the same time. And I don't blame them. I think that was a mistake by their ownership doing that. You bring these quarterbacks in 101. You don't do a group mentality. This is not college. You're not bringing all your rookies, all your seniors coming in on the same day. You don't do that. You want to make Jaden Daniels feel like he's special, that you send him limo. You have one-on-ones with your coach and your GM. You're talking to him. And if you like Drake May too, you bring him on a different day. The fact that you guys decide to put all these guys in the same day turns a lot of people off. Turns Drake May's people off. But even if he's turned off, guess what you need to do? Draft him anyway. Because once again, another player who played with top end talent, but Brian Thomas Jr., having Malik Neighbors there, and he got the ball to them. And he's very calm in the pocket. So if you can get him, that's another team that needs to trade back in, take those 2 second-rounders, trade back into the first round, and get you a left tackle, which is, once again, I told you, a left tackle deep draft. They walk out, the Washington Commanders walk out with a quarterback and a left tackle and a receiver. No, not even a receiver. A quarterback, a cornerback, and a left tackle. Watch out. Watch out. And, they have a coach that will take whatever edge rusher you have. Man, he's gonna make him into a star. So you have the coach in place that could do a lot of great things. But if you could get Jaden Daniels and make him happy, man, with all the receiving talent, good. So Anthony says, yeah, that was stupid. I watched him, or maybe it was a test to see how they all react. That's a stupid test. This close to the draft, this is the one chance the top 30 visit. The one time you have that. You're not going to do the same thing you did with RG3. You're going to draft another quarterback later in the draft. So why would you even put them in that situation? Going with the talent you need. What you need left tackle. You need a corner. You're pretty good at center, I think. I think you could probably do some depth at guard. So why wouldn't you just, and you get a linebacker actually too. So you need an edge rusher. So you need to get those guys. Why wouldn't you just do that? And find your quarterback and say, we're going to build around you. I think that was a mistake. What up, Kadani? Yeah, I'm working solo today. I was like, hey, guys, trying to get everyone in, but everything was happening for everyone else. I closed in my house on Friday, so I might not see you guys the following week because I got to move all the stuff to my house. But I had to be here for the draft talk, looking up to the draft. Cannot wait to talk next Sunday about all the stuff that actually happened. I can't wait to draft night because we're gonna have reactions and actually try to stream that live. I know Tank won't be here, but I think everyone else will, and we'll be on to talk about those things. I cannot wait till Thursday. That's gonna be a great show. So, what are your thoughts on Jerry Rice's son? I mean, you got pedigree. Another thing with when you have Jerry Rice, and I don't know if you guys really know Jerry Rice was not drafted high either. He had to work his way in. He went to a good system. He worked hard to become what he was. I think his son is going to do the same thing. He does not have the same talent. He doesn't have the same build. Jerry Rice is never very quick. I think that he's going to have to work to be anything special. I see him going maybe 4th round. Someone will take. No, someone will take a flyer on. I wouldn't be surprised if San Francisco takes a flyer on. Why not? But Brandon wants to be his own guy, so I mean that's a good thing. But you're going to have someone who's going to work hard, who's going to have the same pedigree, that's going to have that's played with good talent around her. That's going to have everyone, a good quarterback is going to be able to talk to him. He's going to have things you can reach out to. So you take a chance on someone like that. And I wouldn't be surprised if the 49ers do take him. Even if the whole Brandon Ayuk, they did trade Ayuk. Not that Brandon Rice is going to step into that position, but that you do that and then you start putting guys around it, and Brandon Rice is a good way for your fan base to be okay with it. So, but it'll be hilarious if all of a sudden he went to the Raiders. So, oh man, I don't know. This draft is going to be really, really interesting. We have a lot of great stories. I don't know if you guys saw the story on Roma Dunze. So he grew up on a small farm with his grandfather, who was like everything to him. And if you guys get a chance, just check out the story about Roma Dunze, what kind of quality person he is, and stuff he did on the farm with his grandfather and what he did for his grandfather. who's never seen him play. I don't want to go through those stories because I want you to actually look it up. But he's never seen them play, but has been around them his whole life. I think it's a really unbelievable story, and you realize what type of quality person that you could be drafting. And that's another reason why I think the Bears would draft Rome Odunze if he's there, because they like the type of person he is. You know, when you have that type of character, that's been really high on Chicago's list. That type of character of a person, I don't think you pass on. Yeah. So I'd be down if they draft Frank Gore Jr. because I don't know if they are going to be able to bring back CMC after his big money contract. Plus, Gore Senior, Frank Gore Jr. because Frank Senior worked in the organization. I mean, I'd take both. I CMC is already making money. I don't think he's going to make more money than what I think. You actually signed him to extension. I won't be surprised if you sign to extension that's very very similar to the contract he has now. I'm talking maybe a 2 or 3 year extension, because I don't want a running back at 30. I just don't. No matter what, I think 30 is where you kind of get past it. So yeah, but I mean, Rice is going to be a wide receiver 3 this year, maybe at best. Yeah, Juan Jennings stepping up because he broke out. Exactly. That's why you can afford to go ahead. Get rid of Brandon Ayuk, but you get negative publicity with that. We're getting rid of Brandon Ayuk, but you don't have to worry about that because you bring in Jerry Rice, or Brendan Rice in, who could be a wide receiver 3, and then work his way up, and works really well because you have now the fan base who's liking the idea of the move. You're not worried about Brandon Ayuk leaving, who's actually pretty much a number 1 receiver, but Juan Jennings can step into that position and be opposite of Debo, with Brendan Rice working the middle. I think that would be a really good situation. But you still have Kittle. You know, I think teams are going to reach in the second round for a third or fourth round QB. I believe that only one other quarterback will go besides our top 5. I believe what's his name? Stradler. I think he's the only other QB that goes first, second round. So, like I'm saying, we got Caleb, we got Jaden, we got JJ, we got Drake May, we got Penix. So it's top 7 really. Penix, we got Bo Nix. I think there's only 7. I think there's only 7 that go in the top two rounds. I don't think anyone jumps high. The reason why all these quarterbacks go high in the first round is because you get the 5th year option. It's less to do with everything else. It's the 5th year option is what drives these quarterbacks going so early. Everyone knows that, like, if you're really ranking these quarterbacks, JJ McCarthy will be ranked like a 30. You look at his draft ranking, you know that. So Bo Nix is really like a 42, 44. But they all jump up higher because of that when you start looking at it. So you have that 5th year option. You want to have time for that quarterback to develop. So I don't see anyone else looking on the list right now. Spencer Rattler. Rattler, I think is the only other one that goes that second round. When you get to Pratt and Jordan Travis, I think that's the 3rd rounders. And then the word about Joe Milton is that he's going to move to tight end. So someone will draft him at quarterback, and then he will move to tight end because he wants to play right away. And he could do. I mean, 6'5", 235. They don't necessarily think that he's going to be great at quarterback. That could happen. Besides that, I think everyone else just you taking a flyer on. You go Sam Hartman. You just taking him in the 5th or 6th round as a backup. See if he can do something else. And then you got what's his name from Kentucky, Leary from Kentucky. Another guy who's going to come in and be a backup somewhere. I think he sticks around in the NFL, but he's going to be a backup. I don't believe anyone but Rattler is going to be selected in that second round. I don't know. What do you guys think, though? Yeah. And Frank Gore Jr. could learn under CMC, plus Bobby Turner is a great running backs coach. And if you want to talk about pedigree, I mean, Frank Gore lasted forever. I mean, Frank Gore almost could play with his son. Frank Gore is still a specimen. Like, the dude could still do it. So yeah, no, I think Frank Gore Jr. is interesting. I don't know 49ers can afford to do it because they have some other things they have to do work on defense. But I wouldn't be surprised if it happened. Yeah, Fredo, I know you've been talking about the Ray Davis story is great too. And my point I think was more that there's a lot of great stories. And when you're looking at drafting a guy and he has a great story along with it, you're going to start seeing how it plays out, how good these guys are, what quality of human beings they are. Because there's a lot of them. These guys are from all over the world, all over the United States. Have dealt with a lot of different things in their lives. I've known guys that have done unbelievable things, that had to deal with unbelievable things, and been quality people. But that's not the end all be all. Yeah, I remember one of the greatest stories that we had in the Mitch Trubisky draft with the Patrick Mahomes was Deshaun Watson, right? Work done was actually, he had all those houses he had for single moms, and he was building all those houses for them, that great community he was giving away, and his mom wanted it. That was his story, that how quality of a kid he was, and how Work Done loves him and was around him. And then he made a mistake too. He made mistakes too. So everyone has great stories, and I think you need to highlight the stories of them. But no, that's not the end all be all. You don't know the people. Just like when we make someone say they're a role model. When you don't know someone, you don't know them, but you don't hold them accountable for that. But what Fredo's speaking about with Ray Davis, if you guys have an opportunity to look at his story, he's a running back. I believe he gets drafted in the fourth round. I believe fourth round. Another really, really good story. Really hard worker person. Another just quality human being. What it seems like these stories are. That's the extra umph that you really have when you're looking for somebody to draft. You don't know what they really have, especially with running backs. Great running backs can do all type of stuff. I think he gets drafted, fifth round, probably fourth, fifth round, but just check him out. Check out the story; it's really interesting. All right, guys, this is what I have for today. I just wanted to talk to you guys all about the draft moves, all the trades that could be happening. It's amazing, honestly. I love this time of year. It's amazing how the NFL continues to keep all the headlines for themselves. It's a juggernaut that just keeps on moving. It's a train that just keeps on moving all around. And I can't wait to see what happens. I can't wait to see the fan bases. I know the Chicago Bears is having a draft party in Soldier Field. I know there's a lot of stuff that's going on. Wait. Before I jump, get out of that hotel already. Quit stalling. The toilet. Hey, I close on the house on Friday, so go ahead and start sending it after Friday. We should be good. And then I have it on camera. I have a place for it right next to where I want to be, and it will be on display, unfortunately. I'm glad to hear from you, Marty, man. I'm glad you almost done with your time, too. So that's awesome. Oh, man. But, yeah, it's the end of our solo show today. I know everyone was trying to jump on, but I had to come and talk to you guys. I mean, this is just so much fun. There's so much stuff going on. As I said, I'm going to be doing something with the draft. We will make sure that we're on talking to you guys about all this stuff, all these players, all the reactions. Remember, we've been dealing with all these players. We've been putting out videos on each one of them. So if you get a chance, check out Dynasty Pylon. Look at your favorite player. Anyone that's probably in that top 2 rounds, we probably looked at them. Martin does a great job of dissecting the players, where they're going to go, what team they could go to. Check them out. The videos are already uploaded. We got 2 more that we're going to definitely be uploading very soon because we took care of Drake May and Caleb Williams that we wanted to release this week. So that's probably like Monday, Tuesday, we'll be doing those things. So check all those things out. I'll be back here Tuesday on more Bears focused jersey show. So we'll do that Tuesday, looking at 9, looking at the rest we got, 3rd round, the 4th round. And then on Wednesday, we had Dynasty Pylon, the show you get right before the draft. So make sure you guys get there, look at it. Thank you, Bev. That's a great information. Tried our best to do this stuff. It's fun. This is the fun part of it. Breaking it down. This is why we keep on telling everyone, do Dynasty. Dynasty's the way to go. So if you're gonna do a new draft, if you're gonna start a new league, try to go Dynasty. Dynasty is the way we're gonna do it. It's the thing we're gonna push as much as we can. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys Tuesday, Wednesday, and I'll see you guys at the draft. We will see you then, and hopefully it'll be with other people. All right, guys. See you later.